This is the Rays POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Tampa Bay Rays, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Tampa Bay Rays POSTCAST, your spot for instant Rays reaction after every single game. My name is Jonathan Shields. Make sure you guys go follow me on Twitter at Johnny10Shields. As the Rays, it felt like, I don't know about you guys, it felt like forever since the Rays have played. The early game on Sunday, off day yesterday, later-ish game, just 5 minutes later than normal Rays home game start time. But the Rays did almost blow another lead, but we were able to pull it out in the end. In this one, we're going to talk about, has Adrian Houser, I want to ask you guys, done enough to earn getting an extension, getting an extended look next year with the Rays? Tristian Gray has been fantastic lately. It was really good to see Pete have a clean ending after his struggles. A must-sweep series, in my opinion. Last time I checked, Seattle was losing to St. Louis, but as Gary's mentioned before, the Rays have to jump 3 teams, so it's not just Seattle losing. Rooting against the Guardians because you didn't take care of business there, and we'll look ahead to see how the Rays can take the second step in sweeping the series. But first, we got to talk about how homers equal wins for this Rays team.
This is what you'll be talking about.
The Rays hit 3 home runs today. And when the Rays were in part of their 7-game win streak, their longest of the season so far, in parts of early last week, they were hitting home runs. And home runs after home runs after home runs is what have led the Rays to be as successful as they have been. Now, those by the people that hit those home runs today is what stand out to me. You got Josh Lowe hitting one as he continues to have a stellar kind of late August, early September. You get Richie Palacios hitting his first home run of the year, which was huge. And then Tristian Gray with an absolute no-doubter. And Tristian Gray's is where we find our turning point.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
After the Rays gave up the lead, gave up the lead in the sense that the White Sox came back to tie the game. And the one thing I will say, Houser's been fantastic with the Rays for every part of his outings except for the last batter a lot of times. Again, he allows a triple to get through, and it kind of goes all crazy from there. I guess they called it it was a triple, and then Baldwin ends up coming around to score, and then you get Mason Montgomery to come in, and the scouting report's out on Montgomery. Teams are going to be sitting fastball first pitch, and both guys that hit RBIs off him were sitting fastball first pitch, and the second one just got enough to get it into center. The other one was hit pretty well to score the run, but and you hate to see the Montgomery's missed high a lot this year, and the high pitch eventually got the runner to third, was able to strike out the guy to get to 2 outs, but first pitch to the very next batter because the scout's out on him. You throw a fastball 70, 63% of the time, wherever it is. That pitch is probably coming first and been sitting on it. But to have Tristian Gray come up and with 1 out in the 7th and immediately give the Rays back was so huge because the longer that game was tied, the more it favored the White Sox. And Tristian Gray had one of those baller bat flips afterwards / no-doubter celebration that I've seen from a Rays player this year. I mean, that was electric, and that's why he's our player of the game.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Tristian Gray has 9 hits in his last 8 games. His average is over 300 during that time with 3 home runs. His average for the season is up near 250. He's been fantastic as of late. And if you're a recurring viewer to Rays POSTCAST, that wouldn't surprise you because we've talked about how I think that he should be getting the everyday shortstop reps against a righty because of how much success he's had lately. Carson Williams' development is great and everything, but especially if the Mariners lose today and you're 3.5 back with 18 to play, that you have a realistic shot of still getting that final wild card. Now, things have to really break your way, but I think right now Tristian Gray still gives you the best opportunity to succeed with over Carson Williams in terms of with the bat. Obviously, Carson Williams is a much better defender, and I think there's a way that you could get all 3 of them on the field at the same time. Gray can play second. You move Brandon Lowe over to first, where he's played a little bit this year. We even saw Tristian Gray at first today, which almost cost the Rays the game a little bit at the end there. But have Williams play short, and I wouldn't be surprised if they rolled a lineup type like that. Bobby Seymour's another guy that needs to get some more at bats, but don't be surprised tomorrow if it's a righty. If you see Williams, Gray, Brandon Lowe at first, maybe just to get Carson Williams in the lineup to keep getting him those at bats, but keep Tristian Gray's hot bat in the lineup as well. And that's he's our player of the game, and he's been fantastic for the Rays as of late. But again, the Rays got down early. Adrian Houser's only hit for a while was a solo home run to Kyle Teal, and then he really locked in 9 strikeouts for Adrian Houser. Man, he's been really, really good as of late. Ever since that first inning in Seattle, since then he's really settled in for the Rays. But again, I want to touch on who hit the home runs for the Rays. Right, it's Josh Lowe, who has had a little bit of a resurgence this past, I would say, 2.5, 3 weeks. As in September, he's now hitting over 250 with already 2 big home runs. But if you take into account the last 2 days of August, he's hit 4 home runs in the last about 8-ish games, 9-ish games. So that's the type of productivity we expected from Josh Lowe coming into the season. He provided it very briefly when he came up, right? You remember he immediately had 3 hits in that game, hit 321 in June. I mean, he was on fire, and then it was got colder in June, was ice cold in July. August, he started out slow, then really started picking up, and now he's getting hot again. So it's great to see that Josh Lowe. Good to see Richie Palacios, who's been hurt for really the second half of last year and then the entirety of this year, to kind of take that next step and get a big-time home run. Love how he tracked that curveball, too. Got the barrel to it and sent it out. So impressed by not only the Rays hitting the home runs, but who hit the home runs for the Rays, right? It wasn't Brandon Lau, it wasn't Junior, it wasn't Yandy, who were top 3 for the Rays. It's Richie who hit his first, Tristian Gray who hit his third, Josh Lowe who hit his ninth or 10th. I'm not entirely sure what Josh's was, but it goes to the lineup depth that the Rays have been trying to establish for a long time. And we thought that lineup with Hyesung Kim was going to be kind of powerful. Obviously, he gets DFA'd or put on waivers. He's picked up by the Braves, but so the Rays are trying to piece together holes in their lineup. So having Tristian Gray provide a little bit of that pop has been huge for the Rays. But we're going to talk about a little bit about Pete Fairbanks, how good it was for him to have a clean ending, and why this is a must-sweep series right after this. This episode is brought to you by Game Time. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live. The energy of the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees, it takes the fun out of it. That's why I use Game Time, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Game Time is fast, easy, and backed by the Game Time guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. And the best part is having those fees included. Your total up front with no surprise fees. And the Rays are going to their last homestand of the year next week. So you guys got to make sure you get there and use Game Time and use the code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket. Go download Game Time today. This episode is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401ks, properties, or investments. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. That's why there's Monarch Money, an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, and get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. You can identify the savings as much you can identify that you aren't saving as much as you thought. Monarch helps you notice an inefficient investment allocation, discover forgotten 401ks from past jobs. Don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Again, if you guys are in the live, first of all, thank you, and then leave a like and comment. And let's talk about Pete Fairbanks. And I noted at the end of the Guardians game last time when it was a tie game, he gave up a run, a lot of soft contact, weak contact, kind of got unlucky there. He was more sharp today. His location was better. And I don't know, they called it a slider on the broadcast, but he threw a few quote unquote sliders at like 90 miles an hour, which is like 5 mile per hour higher. So I don't know if he tried to like mix in a cutter a little bit, which we saw Shane Baz do a little bit. But when you look at his breakdown, it says, yeah, 4-seam slider, but the max on his slider was 90, which is like the hardest he's thrown it this year. So I wonder if that's something a little bit different out of Pete, but just good to see him, get back in that save category in a high leverage situation. 1-run game. There's an error, right? One hit to the wall and left. Things were chaotic as they normally are, but he was able to shut it down. So very good for Pete. But let's go ahead and look ahead at the game tomorrow, same time, first pitch. Ryan Pepe will go to the mound. Still undecided for the White Sox. So anyone in the comments, if they have announced that, I saw they put on the broadcast that they still haven't. If you guys get any word that they have announced it, let me know. But for Ryan Pepiot, he's 11-10 with a 3.5 ERA. He's been really good for the Rays this year. Last time out against Cleveland, 5 innings, 6 strikeouts. He's given up just 2 hits over his last 15 innings. And I feel like he hasn't even pitched his best. Last time against Cleveland, he was really battling. Against Washington, to an extent, he was really battling. You see that in his walk totals. 2 walks against Cleveland, 3 walks against the Nationals. That's very unlike Pep to an extent. So he's been really good without having his best stuff. He's kind of due for that to turn around where he's dominant and you can tell he has his best stuff. But what most thing I've been impressed with Pepio is his ability to get the productivity that he's gotten without having his best stuff and battling through some of that adversity. I think it's been huge for him. And again, one of the biggest keys for the Rays in the rest of these last 18 games. And the Rays are realistically going to need like another like 15-4 mark if you count this this game, which was game 19 left for the Rays. Now there's 18 after this game. But one of those kind of runs, right? Like you're gonna have to win probably 4 or 5 more games, at least 6 games at least. Then you're gonna lose going forward. But let's get to the comments. We'll go to Coastal Kyle. He says, "I never doubted Pete. Good team win." Of course, Kyle is one of the people that said I did doubt Pete a little bit, but I love the humor there. Yeah, look, again, Pete Fairbanks has welcomed the criticism, right? He deserves the criticism as now Seattle is winning. That's devastating. After, of course, Randy hit a 3-run home run. What a guy. But hopefully St. Louis can do a job there. But yeah, it's just good to see Pete get on track. Let's go to Gary. Says, good to get back in the win column and see Pete Fairbanks bounce back with a save. Josh Lowe, Richie Palacios, and Tristian Gray supply the power. Yeah, when the Rays hit home runs, they've been a different team this year. But unfortunately, it might be a little bit too late, as July once again looks like it's going to doom the Rays, unfortunately. But as we go, Jack 6 says, glad they pulled up on man. Did they try to give it away today? It's the same story as last season. They play smart, fundamental baseball. They dominate, but sloppy and risky plays bottom often. I didn't think the Rays played sloppy today. Like, they didn't walk anyone. That's my biggest thing. When the Rays walk people, it bothers me because all the time, especially at this level, you see those walks come back around to score. The Rays did not walk a single player today. So besides Junior had an error in the first, and the Tristian Gray won the 9th. But when the White Sox scored their runs, it wasn't because the Rays were sloppy. I thought they put together good at bats. They knew they knew the scout on Montgomery was fastball heavy. They're sitting on that for him, and so I kind of disagree with that to an extent, but because I don't think the Rays played sloppy outside of maybe 2 plays. And anytime I see a Rays game where they don't walk anyone, you take that 100% of the time, especially when you have Montgomery pitching, who's been known to walk a lot of people. So as we go to Gary, which is not the news we want to see, he says, since the loss of the Rays last Thursday, Guardians now won 5 in a row. I have to give them credit. Yeah, they're doing it with below average lineup and without their 2 best relief pitchers, or 2 of their best relief pitcher, another solid one. Yeah, I mean, they're getting hot at the right time. The Rays need to go like 5-1 on this road trip. That's the kind of road trip they need in order to stay in it. And again, I don't want to talk about playoffs to death because the Rays are 4 games back right now, and if the Mariners end up winning, they'll be right back to 4.5 back, and 4.5 back with 18 to play. It just isn't great for the Rays' playoff chances. So yeah. So as we go to Gary again, he's just not trying to nitpick, but I would love to see Bob Seymour get as many ABs as possible between now and the end of the season. And Eric Orsi, why is he not with the big club? Yeah, look, Eric Orsi's not on this roster for a reason. There's a reason, especially with the Rays going out and acquiring a pitcher off waivers from the Rangers when Van Bell went down. So there's a reason I'm going to trust the Rays front office. They've earned that trust from us. So, but yeah, it's interesting. As for Seymour, I would expect him, if there's a righty, to be in there tomorrow to an extent. I was kind of surprised he wasn't in there today. He hasn't played in a little bit, but it's that fine line right now where the Rays aren't as far out of it where you can't just play the young guys, and they're still in it to an extent too, where you need to play the guys that you think are going to put you in the best situation to win. So as we go to Mr. Bob Seymour, he has not played since Friday. Yeah, that's a good amount of time off. Again, another guy I would love to see get a start against a righty is Morel, right? He's hit righties better than lefties this season. And, he's another guy that the Rays really need to get a look at to see if he's in their future plans. So, again, Rays win 5-4. Only 18 games left, man. Crazy. I feel like this season, since kind of July, has flown by. Just crazy that it's almost over. But we'll be here every night until it is over. And hopefully the Rays can somehow go on another run, get near the playoffs again. But it's going to need some help and some more good baseball like they did for a majority of today. So if you guys are in the live, please make sure you leave a like before you guys head out. We'll be right back tomorrow at the exact same time, hopefully talking about another Rays win. We will see you guys